Okay. Well, let's get started. Again, welcome everyone. So glad you're all here. Um, I think it's gonna be a pretty sh relatively short meeting today. Don't have a lot, but I did want to really just commit a little bit of time to do an actual roundtable and hear from all of you and do a little catch up because I feel like that part has gotten kind of cut short and at the very end of a lot of our meetings, and it has I at least find it really valuable to hear from you, and I think it's really helpful for you to hear from each other and get some inspiration or help on issues that you're having. So I really wanted to focus on that and also kind of in the spirit of gratitude. I know I'm sure we're all very grateful for our relatively mild fire season this year. A couple scary little fires, but nothing too big. And knocking on wood right now, because I guess it's never over really in California anymore. But it feels good to get that rain and things cooling off a bit. Being able to just we made it. But beyond that, just extremely grateful for all of you and everything that you're doing. I can't even understand how I get be so lucky to work with such a fantastic group of people who commit so much of their own personal time and effort and dollars and tears and joy into making our community safer. And I see you all as the visionaries who can see this wildfire adapted communities and Napa County that the possibility of what we can have for living with wildfire without having to live in fear all the time of the next catastrophic wildfire. And I think we're going to get there. We've all been working hard at it. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you and congratulations for the great progress you're all making. I'm just so proud of you all. Um, so there's that. Updates. Let's see. I cannot make my screen of all of you bigger, unfortunately. So can't see who all's here with us right now. But I was just on in the realm of the DSpace cost share update. All I wanted to say about that right now is there are still funds available. If you hear from Fire Safe Council members who have not heard back or have questions about it, be sure to forward those along. We do have um, Camille. Camille's not on the call by any chance, is she? Anyway, we have a new person taking over for Mark Nadeau, heading up the charge for executing that sensible space cost share. And she's great. We're going to be bringing her around to meet all of you out in the world, introduce her to you and you to her. And I just wanted to let everyone know that there are still some funds remaining. So you can encourage people to apply. We would love to spend every penny of that and look for more because I think it is an important thing that we do. And Chris Warner, I don't know if you have anything to add to that. I can see you, or at least with us.
Right. No, I want to mention that this is, as we all know, not a one and done on cost share or on DSpace, and part of the great opportunity here for all of us as fire safe councils is to really get our community focused on self-help on defensible space, and it is the law. You know, we've got increasingly strict defensible space requirements for everybody, particularly in the WUI. And in fact, I was noticing St. Helena has increased their defensible space requirements within their city, which includes part of the hills, to 150 feet, not just 100 feet. So the cost sharing, I think we're going to see expanded in the future. It's not going to be a one-time opportunity, and it's not going to be once a year. We're all going to have to encourage our members as well as all our neighbors to do defensible space every single year. And I think it's starting to sink in. I think everybody's working together, particularly the fire safe councils are doing a great job at getting the information out. But we're just starting. We're making good progress, but there's a lot more to do.
Well said. Eileen, go ahead.
It came as a bit of a surprise because some folk here in our FSC on First Avenue were trying to apply for the cost share, and they were told that since we are not categorized as medium to high fire danger, we don't qualify, which I don't think a lot of people, I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was.
Maybe I can Want me to address that, Sherry?
Yes, thank you.
Part of it is that we really know that most of the risk of wildfire spreading is from the WUI, from the wildland urban interface up in the hills. And we've had a lot of people say, well, why can't you help me do my trimming down on in the valley? And it just simply is there's not enough money. And frankly, there's not enough bang for the buck, because actually the risk to those in the valley is mainly from those who don't create defensible space in the hills where the wildfires start. That said, I suspect down the road that there's going to be some general help down the road for cost sharing. I think this is not the only time there'll be cost sharing. I suspect for people who have yards, who have the need to clear their tree limbs, the need to clear debris from their roofs, and don't have enough resources to do it themselves, I suspect we're going to have some resources coming down the road. It's just that the current program is focusing on those properties in the wildland urban interface that are considered high fire hazard. Does that help with your question? Because I know we've gotten a lot of questions on the program, not just from your area, but from everybody who says, why can't you get me some money where I live, even though I'm not in the high hazard area?
I just brought it up because you all just mentioned that you all are trying to spend the money and want to spend all of it. And there are people who would love to get some of it, but who don't qualify. So that was why I brought it to the table.
It's
I think
good.
it's actually a stipulation of the grant.
That's right.
When we did the grant, we said we were going to focus on the high and very high severity folks.
Okay.
So it's conceivable, Eileen, that I have a lot of confidence that we're going to wind up spending the money in the high and the very high, and we'll find the people. We have a long list of applicants. But I think to Chris's point, the program that was likely to come down the pike here with the BRIC award will probably have a broader lens that it considers for folks who will qualify.
Okay, thank you.
That's great. Thank you. And Joe, did you want to give any other updates or anything else? Any other news from the NCFF world?
Only that Christopher, our board chair, and I spent some time with the new fire administrators last week and did a 2-hour orientation for them. We are going to work with them on where they're joining our board meeting next week, our November board meeting. Then we're going to work with them on introducing them to the fire safe councils, and we want to figure out how to do that in a way that is as kind of in person as possible. So we might have them join like this FSC leads thing, but I think it's important for them and important for us that they get out and have a chance to tour some projects in all of our fire safe council areas, have a chance to meet the FSC leads in person on the ground, looking at some different projects and things like that. So we're going to be coordinating with them likely somewhat in December, January, February, et cetera, to make sure that we systematically get them out to all of our fire safe council communities to talk about priorities and what's on the roadmap and projects that we've done and things like that.
Fantastic. Yeah, I was going to say we should invite them to this meeting, especially if we could do it in person, but even better to have them come out and visit and see what's going on out there and talk to you in your home territory. I think that would be really great, really helpful and instructive. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for all you're doing too to lead the charge. And let's see, before we get into, let's see, we did show of hands, who attended the Napa Valley Community Foundation Wildfire Resilience Summit? And some people off camera, maybe too. I saw a few of you there. Any thoughts on that?
I thought it was great. I thought it was a great gathering. And for me, it was a kind of a reaffirmation that wildfire prevention that we're all involved in is a high priority for the leaders in the county. That was my main impression. Joe was there presenting on behalf of NCFF, but really I thought Joe was presenting on behalf of all of us in terms of emphasizing the priority. And I thought there was great agreement and great consensus that, hey, we're not one and done. This isn't something that's going to be, a secondary priority for the county. This is right tops and on top of the list of priorities in future years. I don't know, Joe or Sherry or others who were there, your thoughts.
Yeah, I would echo that. I think that, I mean, it was a good gathering. I think that it's something that we gotta sort of stay on. There was sort of there was an emphasis on what kinds of technologies are out there to maybe mitigate against some of these things. But in general, I think our message is that a lot of this work it's sort of the slow grind dirt work of identifying veg management projects and getting out there and getting them done, and then engaging the community on how those things are maintained. And it's obviously expensive work, so figuring out where the money comes from and figuring out how to unlock private money and landowners to help them make decisions is all part of the sort of, you know, the grind of getting the stuff done. And we're out there leading the charge. And I think we have, I mean, Napa Valley Community Foundation has been a great partner for us. The vintners have been a great partner for us. We have a fantastic set of partnerships of people that are like-minded and focused on the issue. And that's really, I think, an outstanding thing that we can demonstrate to other counties. You know, on that point, I did want to mention there are a range of different fundraisers that are coming up, and Chris Warner reminded me of this today in an earlier meeting, that we want to encourage all of our fire safe councils to kind of get the word out to your members and to your landowners in your community. Napa Valley Community Foundation has, they're the beneficiary of a fundraiser that Bill Dodd does in 2020 at the end of the year here. So to the extent that you can rally your community to support Bill Dodd's fundraiser, which gets money into Napa Valley Community Foundation and then trickles its way down to landowners and even helps Napa Firewise, that would be great. There's also the vintners are doing their fund to need, their end of the year fundraiser, which will likely benefit Firewise around wildfire, forest resilience, and things like that. So to the extent that you could support that vintners fundraiser, it's pretty important. And then lastly, you're going to see in our newsletter in November and December a real push for sort of small dollar donations or large dollar. We don't turn away large dollar donations. We're happy with large dollar donations too, but you know, we're out there sort of trying to beat the bushes and drum up support for Firewise. So any of those three things, as you see newsletters come across about donations or requests for donations, or the Dodd fundraiser or the Vintner fundraiser, fundraiser, please do what you can to support them, because a lot of that money will make it back into our communities doing the resilience work that we're tasked with.
Could we please have the dates, times, and costs, et cetera, for those fundraisers?
You
Can
bet.
send them out.
Sherry, is that
Yeah.
something that you can pull together?
Yep. Yes, absolutely. I'll send that around.
Including maybe Sherry, the links to the where you buy tickets or where you contribute. I think there are links that have been sent out too.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Thank you for all of that. Next, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Firewise community reporting. There have been some questions for some of the those of you who are now newly certified or working on, not certified, sorry, recognized NFPA Firewise community. If you're working on your certification, you have your certification, you need to do the annual reporting to keep your certification going until it's time to re-up. And we do have a form now. I think you've probably all gotten it. I'll send that around as well. That makes it a little easier. You can send it out to all of your FSC constituents, and they can fill it out and send it back to you. But we're looking at streamlining the collection of that data too, so it'll be even easier for you reporting at the end of the year. And I know a few of you have been certified for a while. Let's see. Silverado FSC. Do you guys have a good, Susan, and put you on the spot? Do you guys have a handy way of keeping all that information?
Well, it's me.
Yay, Susan.
Yeah. So what I do throughout the year, every time there's a project, I try to reach out to the contractors and the people that are in charge and quickly get the right information from them so that I'm compiling that data throughout the year. I think it's hard to go back in October because you've got a November deadline to gather that and have people remember, especially with some of the contractors. And it takes some dogging for some of them. You know, you have to be persistent. So, my recommendation is have somebody from your fire safe council be the point person. And, then just keep the council apprised of where you are as far as meeting the targets that are required for Firewise throughout the year. I think if you have everybody involved, it could get kind of messy. And if one person knows, well, we did Milliken Creek, let's find out who did it. Let's find out whatever. I've done as much as drive around and see Inferno Guard and say, okay, Jake, I need your information now. So I think that has worked really well. And we were recognized in May of 19. So we've been at it for a while. We're coming up for our already started planning for our 5-year CWPP.
Wonderful. And then let's see, just on that note, nope, I lost it. Oh gosh. Yes. Has anyone had themselves or heard any of their, for those of you who already have that recognition of the Napa Firewise, gosh darn it, Firewise community, have you seen any benefits to your insurance, in the realm of discounts?
Yeah, the California Fair Plan has given this, does give discounts, and that's a confirmed fact from a couple of our residents.
USAA gives a 5% discount.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I can confirm that the California plan gives a 10% discount for certain qualifications and a 5% discount on other qualifications. Some of them, depending on the situation at your house or business, is a little unrealistic in my personal opinion. But at least they're offering something.
That's right. I think you can get a list of of their provisions for discounts, at least from the insurance commissioner website, just as you say, particularly for the FAIR plan. So if any of you want to get a list of those discounts, and I agree they're a little bit clunky, you can find them in the FAIR plan information on the commissioner's website.
Yeah, I can. It's a short list. I can briefly,
Right.
if you like.
Yeah, maybe send it to Sherry and she can send it out to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, we hear that it should give you a discount. I just wanted some confirmation that it is actually happening out there in the real world.
Can I ask a clarifying question, Sherry and Brandon? So months ago, we heard that there was a 10% discount if it was a Firewise community. And then a month ago, they announced that for the California Fair Plan members or whatever, there's the 5 and the 10% discount. So a total of 15% discount if you're meeting these new 10 standards, matching the new California program. Do you happen to know, Brandon, do you get 10%, 5% plus another 10% if all 3 of the above are reached?
I do not know the answer to that question. The only thing I know is that you get a 10% premium discount for the structural requirements, which are having a Class A fire roof,
Yeah.
6 inches at the bottom of all exterior walls made of non-combustible material, ember and fire resistant vents, upgraded windows, and included eaves. That will give you 10%. And then you can get 5% for the immediate surroundings, which includes cleared vegetation and debris from under the decks, the ember resistant zone around your home, which including fencing within 5 feet, removal of combustible sheds and other outbuildings from the immediate surroundings of your home and at least a distance of 30 feet, and defensible space compliant, including trimming trees, removal of brush, debris from the yard, and compliance with the California Public Resources Code. And I'm not aware of any discount of being a member of an FSC at this time, but I'll ask.
Well, I meant to clarify, I meant to say to be a Firewise community is an additional 10% on top of that 15.
I don't know the answer to that.
I
can
don't
ask.
believe so. Oh,
I would be
Um,
skeptical of that. That's a big, huge combination of discounts. Hard to imagine we'd be getting that much.
Right.
And
I
it's kind
agree.
of for
yeah,
overlapping
but
reasons too.
I agree.
exactly. But I'll try to
Okay,
send that
thank
around
you.
as well. Kind of
Thank
that
you.
consolidated list. But thank you, everyone.
Diamond Mountain is happy that we got a certification this year. And my personal thought is discounts, of course, are super great and important, but I'm just hoping that allows some people to not have their insurance canceled. That if they
Correct. Yeah.
that you would actually just not get a company pull out or cancel individuals. So
Actually, I've also heard, Gretchen, that is being considered. If people, most insurance companies now are challenging coverage. And if you can provide the certification to them, they do renew.
it's part of the argument, at least, that you have to show.
Yeah.
I mean, the insurance company is trying, people in that industry are trying to impress upon the underwriters that if you do mitigate these risks, it does make a big difference.
And Gretchen and Eileen, in Napa, we've got a number of the jurisdictions that offer certificates for defensible space compliance. And those certificates can be used if you've got a dispute with your insurance company over coverage. I know in St. Helena, we have kind of copied what the county is doing. I think Calistoga, it'd be great if we could see everybody up and down the valley, even outside the WUI. And this, Eileen, gets to your point about cost sharing, is that if you can at least get a city inspector from the fire department to come in and say, yeah, your defensible space is cleared, looks good. You've got your gutters cleaned, you've got the tree limbs, give you a certificate. And then if you have any trouble with insurance, you'd say, hey, wait a minute. I've got a certificate that shows that I've done my annual defensible space. And I have heard anecdotally that helps probably in some ways even more than the Firewise community recognition, because it shows that you've done something individually. And that's going to kind of start to link up with our cost sharing program at Napa Firewise, as well as everything you all are doing with fire safe councils to get people to do defensible space.
You're right, Chris. The only issue here is that we've had a lot of individual homeowners ask the county to come out, but they're so understaffed that it takes some very long.
I know. I hear anecdotally they're getting more staff next year. We've got so many thousands of homes, and they only have about four inspectors. So I know they've set priorities, but I know they want to do more. And I think we're hoping they're going to be able to hire more.
We had county inspectors up here unsolicited this fall that were moonlighting from Sonoma County. They were brought in by Napa County, and they just showed up and said, well, yeah, we're actually Sonoma County, but we're helping out. It's like, okay, cool.
Yep.
The more the merrier.
But we need to, for Eileen's point, every homeowner or property owner who wants to get a certificate showing they've done the right things, even if they're outside the WUI, there ought to be some way to have that happen. So Eileen, I'm hoping that's going to get addressed.
Right.
Me too.
I didn't have any issues with asking our local CAL FIRE station to come out one Saturday morning and do an inspection and give me a certificate.
Right.
So, I think it's who you ask and what's going on in the community at the time, and they may be more than willing to come out. They brought 5 people to look at my house, so there you go.
Boy, you're special.
Yeah,
They
and
brought the whole engine,
yeah, that's a great point, and that'll be a great thing for fire safe councils to focus on. I know Eric really encourages everyone to think about that, especially early in the year when they're not super busy with fires and enforcement and things like that. But to do those, start thinking about trying to get neighborhoods together even to do the visits and organizing some neighbors if that works. But those inspections will be great.
We've done at least 2 of our neighborhoods, my street and up to Burning Tree Court. You know, too bad about the name, but anyway. And the guys came out on a Saturday morning. CAL FIRE came out on Saturday morning, brought at least 6 guys. I invited everybody on the whole area, which is about 100 homes. We probably had 40 homes, and then they split up and inspected homes going up the street. And it worked really well. I know the Crest did the same thing and did their whole area. So it's an opportunity. We did it, as, okay, this is a Saturday morning event, guys, come on. Show up and let's hear from the guys and hear what they're talking about. And then let's go inspect homes and learn from each other. And it worked beautifully.
That's great.
That's a great project.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love it.
Did you provide?
I provided coffee and donuts, and I had a lot of coffee and donuts left over.
Okay.
But I also had a lot of handouts for people to take with them about defensible space and go bags and evacuation and everything else.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So we get the round table, Sherry?
Yeah, we're going to roundtable. All right, everyone. So I know Gretchen has to jump off early, so I'm gonna start with the D's. I was gonna go alphabetically here just to.
And I might have to jump off by 6.
Oh, I see. I see how this goes. Now everyone's gonna have to jump off early.
Nice.
Me and my big mouth. All right, Gretchen, tell us about Diamond Mountain. Anything to report? And sorry, again, trying to look at. I want to hear an update, but also if you can share anything that's worked really well, anything you're grateful for, or of course anything that any needs or things that haven't gone so well, we can learn from that as well.
Okay, well, we're always grateful for our neighbors and our community that is involved. We have a steering committee on our Fire Safe Council. We meet once a month on Zoom. So that's been a really guiding principle to just no matter what's going on, we get together second Friday morning every month. And that really kind of, gets everyone accountable if they haven't sort of moved on their project or whatever. This year, we're really thankful, starting last fall, Napa Firewise with Bill Dodd money and some CAL FIRE money and some county money came in and did a big fuel reductions along Diamond Mountain Road and worked in the Tucker area. And then currently exactly now, they're about to do a big fuel reduction on Cordham Canyon and also wrapping up a major fire road improvement on the backside of Diamond Mountain or the top of Diamond Mountain that goes into Sonoma County. So the Heidi Ranch Road, Sharp Road connector. So that's been really a 4-year project, but really the last 2 years with Napa Firewise leaning into it. And that's some roadbed work and culverts and stuff. So we're very thankful that we've seen fruition on some really large long-term projects and also certification from the Firewise communities. So this week we're having a November meeting and we're not going to meet on December. There's too many things to do. But so we're leading in on a wrap up of the year and we're focusing, we don't usually have a theme for a meeting, but this week would be coalition building because we've really experienced great partnership with the St. Helena Spring Mountain Fire Safe Council, but also we've been really getting engaged and a couple of our members are actually on that committee. There's a group called Diamond Mountain Mark West Planning Grant. And so they got a big planning grant to do a large scale to plan, not to execute it, but to do all the planning, which means basically finding all the landowners and connecting people to do a large-scale fuel reduction project along the ridge line of the Mayacamas Mountains on the Sonoma side. And then that ties into Napa Firewise's and the Vintners grant, which is looking to do Mayacamas Range ridgetop fuel reductions all the way down to Napa. And they're already doing projects around Mountain Meager and around Spring Mountain. So we're kind of marching up and down the ridge line here, connecting people. So 8 of us from Diamond Mountain Fire Safe Council attended a really great workshop at the Pepperwood Preserve last Saturday. That wing of, and really, we've been really focusing on cross-county collaborations and cooperations, because as we well know, the fire just goes right over there or comes right over here. So, so we're and then on the Buffet Park side, we're collaborating bit by bit. But tomorrow we have a guest member. So Hugh Davies from Schaumsburg is going to come and share with us some of his work that he's been, connecting with the park on creating maybe a fire road potential. And myself and Steve Burgess from Napa Firewise and some other neighbors have been hiking up on the top of Diamond Mountain Road, or Diamond Mountain, on private property that I connected with the landowners to hike, to look for some potential fuel break areas. And so we've really been making big project on the sort of collaboration side. So we wanted to really talk about that.
Gretchen, can I interrupt just for 1 second?
Yeah.
Eileen, can you please mute your microphone? There's some background noise.
Yeah. Oh, is that where that's coming from?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, Gretchen.
No problem. So anyway, we're just basically celebrating with our group the idea that we have had some successful outreaches to beyond our borders, essentially. And so we've grown enough that we're not just focusing on our own little bubble, which we have been and needed to, but now we are reaching out and, doing some mentoring to other groups and collaborating with other groups. I know that, for example, Ann Cottrell, our supervisor up here in North County, met Darlene organized a meeting with her and the supervisor in Sonoma County, who they hadn't really met. Steve Burgess came to this meeting at Pepperwood and met some people that he'd never met in the Sonoma side and Sonoma Firewise. So, we're really working to knit these communities together. So that's kind of my report.
And we're now included in that standing meeting that is organized by,
Yes.
I know Steve, myself, and Mike are invited to the one that Roberta McIntyre and Fire Safe Sonoma and Anais Morris.
Right, that's
sort
the workshop we went to and worked with them.
Yeah.
And Michael Riggy from here, and Lynn Garrick from the Mark West Fire Safe Council are leaders in that too. So yeah, and that's, they've been wanting to connect with Napa Firewise for some time, and it's finally just organically coming together.
Yeah.
So we're really happy about that. So I'm going to mute and let someone else take the floor.
I love it. And then just to go crazy and be alphabetical, see Lauren from Angwin. Do you want to give a short update, put you on the spot?
She left it in the chat.
Drat. Okay. Thank you. Well, see, I guess we can all read it. Good long one. Unfortunately, I have to leave early. Here's Anglin's report. First, we had our CWPP public meeting. At the end of October, we split into groups, into neighborhood groups, and each was provided with a map. They worked together to identify risk areas that hadn't been identified by Carol's first draft of the updated CWPP, and we found giving folks an activity to do together really helped build community and keep people engaged. We plan to summarize that feedback and share it back to the community so they can see how their time giving feedback is used. Secondly, we're planning a Spanish language resource fair CWPP presentation for the first part of the year, since we know we're missing that large population in our current outreach efforts. And finally, our council has expanded with some new faces, including Lauren as a new co-lead and a new communications lead and several new neighborhood leads. And that's it. So I would just like to jump on that too and say Angwin's been doing a great job. We've really gotten a fresh infusion of people engaged, and the neighborhood idea is taking off too. Scott Sandin has been a neighborhood lead for Angwin for a while, and he's kept a really organized list of all the neighbors' contact information. And it's really helpful for getting the word out. And as many of you know, when we need to get landowner agreements to work on a project, or just spread information, it's really helpful to have those communication channels open. So that's something we would love to be helping with too, to help facilitate that, get you all help get your neighborhoods captained. I think that's a great model for that. Okay, let's see. Various estates.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I'm in my mobile office. Apologize, my satellite can't do the video. Various estates, fire safe councils, kind of planning for winter of 23-24. We met with Open Space, Rick Fesden, to kind of look at some of the shared parcels with Open Space and our Property Owners Association. CAL FIRE piled some areas in summer, and we were looking to just connect with them to get permissions to have CAL FIRE come help us burn those piles this winter. We're moving forward with our blanket permits for burning for the neighborhood. It's always a popular community thing for us to do together as a fire safe council and as a community. And as 360 some odd half-acre parcels, we're surrounded by large landowners. So we really feel it's important to talk with them. So we reached out to Open Space. We're continuing to work with Elbrid, which is Napa County's water district, who's always been very cooperative. And we have an appointment to meet with the new battalion chief. I don't really understand how to explain the title, but Rob Wetstein, JC Greenberg introduced us to him. He'll be our battalion chief. He'll be out next week with Carol and BLM to kind of look at some potential work and fuel break work that might be able to happen sometime in the coming future on some of the BLM land. And we're also continuing to work with Chris Hirschbeck of BOR, who's been very supportive the last 2 years, starting with the Bill Dodd funds from 2020, 2021. And we also hosted our monthly fire safe council meeting. I shouldn't say monthly, it's more like quarterly or biannually. And we invited Capel Valley, Berryessa West, and Pope Valley. We had a good turnout. Lon and Pope Valley residents came. We had about 16 to 20 people. And we're really just kind of sharing general information. We got some good ideas of how we can kind of help engage those other rural communities by working with like the Pope Valley Farm Center. Lon really has some great action ideas in Capel that he voiced. And then also to work with the Pope Valley School, which owns a significant sized parcel. So we're doing lots, but really just trying to continue with our volunteer hours. That's all I've got.
Great
Sherry,
update. Thanks, Jonathan.
Sherry, are you on
Gary, are
mute?
you there?
Sorry about that. My computer has been a little slow since it got its last round of updates. It's like it got a vaccine and it's feeling a little under the weather today, I think. But yes, I'm here. And my keyboard is super loud, so I'm trying to mute myself when I'm typing some notes about what you all are sharing. Anyway, thank you, Jonathan. That is great news. I wish I could have joined that meeting too. It sounds like good progress in the East County. And see, I think I saw Megan. Oops, my alphabet is not very good, but let's go with Megan first. And then we'll go to the Highlands.
Hi, everyone. Megan with Berryessa West. we are excited. We just received our CWPP last week. So we're looking forward to sort of going over that as a new team. And yeah, we're so new. We barely have volunteer hours to log and such. So Gretchen mentioned a little bit about mentoring, and I was able to reach out to her and sort of pick her brain about what they're doing as an already established fire safety council. So because we're so new, we're just here and sort of absorbing all the information so that we can apply it in the most useful way. So thanks. That's all I have.
Well, thank you, Megan. Thank you for being here. And I would just like to say, small but mighty, you guys are doing a great job. You really, truly, and just right out of the gates, working on your own CWPP and just running through all the checklists to get up and running. So you'll be mentoring people before you know it. And I do love to hear that you guys are reaching out to each other. Perhaps I'll also share around again a list of everybody's contact information so that you have it at your fingertips. And thank you for that, Megan. All right, for Berryessa Highlands, we've got Joe Sponseller and Evan Kilkus. You guys will have to
Hi
take
there.
turns to share the mic. Okay.
It sounds like you can hear me perfect. I'll start off here by giving a quick update. We've got a few updates. We've had a lot of things to be thankful for. First of all, the Defensible Space Grant is our current update, where we've done we've had 7 properties in the neighborhood treated, 5 of which were right on our main street, Steel Canyon Road. And these were properties that were overgrown with juniper and rosemary and oleander and lots of other various brush that was planted 40 to 50 years ago. So it was really cool to help these homeowners that were low income catch up with the rest of the neighborhood. And some of them were really excited right off the bat. Some of them also were really hesitant right off the bat. In the end, they were all really thrilled with the results of the defensible space work. And the defensible space program was great, so we were really happy about that. And I could say more, but I'll leave it at that. Also, we do have homeowners starting to receive the EFRP grants, which was the Emergency Forest Restoration Program. That was based out of the 2020 wildfires issued through the Farm Bureau. And I'm sorry I'm speaking quickly, but I do want to keep it quick. But we're excited to see hopefully several hundred acres south of the neighborhood. And when you look at the map, the Berryessa Highlands neighborhood is on a peninsula. So we're hoping to see several hundred acres south of the neighborhood treated with this EFRP grant, which will include a lot of lop and scatter and fuels management. And that'll happen in the next couple of years at homeowners' expenses with grant funding supporting that. And that's separate from all of our other grants. And it complements the NCFF ridgeline fire breaks that have taken place up here. So we're excited to see those grants finally rolling out several years later. And then the third big thing we're really excited about is progress with our Firewise status, which Joe is going to tell us about real quickly here.
Sure.
Next.
Can you hear me
Joe.
okay? Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
Evan. Well, one thing I just wanted to say before we get into that is that Evan's kind of short selling it a little bit, and that he's done a fantastic job in personally working with a lot of the homeowners that had difficulty with just navigating the whole defensible space grant and really hand holding them. And we're not talking about a small thing. I mean, he spent several hours with each one of them to make sure that they knew exactly what they needed to do and really help them through it. And it's been tremendous to really see these people, that some of these properties that are really in some dire need for a long time get taken care of. So thank you, Evan, for doing that. And then just one note about the team. The team is really energized. We have 4 people, 5 people with some great ideas. We meet monthly, and they've just brought a ton of ideas. Each one of us has canvassed the community for feedback relative to our risk assessment. So I did get to where you were talking, Evan, eventually here in preparation for our CWPP. And really, I think that the more that the community participates in it, the better off we're going to have as a full solution. So we've got a lot of inputs, a lot of things we've added in. A lot of new ideas and probably an expansion. Evan and the past team did a fantastic job with the previous CWPP, but we're looking to kind of redo some of that, and then also add on some great new ideas, from anything from a better egress regress plan to sirens in the community to et cetera, and really taking a lot of input from some of the best fire safe councils, not just in our community or in Napa County as well. So we have a draft risk assessment completed. Looking forward to working with Carol to get through the next step on the CWPP and really flesh that out and turn it into actions. Some other minor updates that we have are that we are looking to take some of that information that we get from the preliminary CWPP and put that into our community plan. We've already been reaching out for tentative dates with CAL FIRE and with the supervisors, et cetera. So that, looking forward to that. At a door-to-door campaign that we're kicking off that just make sure we have contacts in the community. As you guys said earlier, having the ability to quickly get updates on landowner agreements or know when contacts have changed or there's new people in the community is a big deal. So making sure that we have a very complete list. We've had a lot of people that have been signing up now for the regular contacts, and that's very helpful. And then I think the rest of it, as Jonathan was talking about the new chief, Robert Wetstein, I'm arranging a meeting with him to talk a little bit more about what's going on in our community, so you can get familiar with that. And then we're going to be looking, hopefully, if it continues to stay reasonably wet, looking forward to doing some controlled burns and taking care of some stuff this fall and this winter. So that's it from us. I'm sorry that was so long, but thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome, Joe. Great.
Great work out there. You guys are killing it.
We have a lot to do yet.
Yeah, there's always that. There's always so much to do, but I think we can all just take such joy in even the large and small things, all the things, they really matter.
Yeah, it's great
and
to hear.
because of the
It's great to hear everybody's updates too, by the way. So I appreciate everybody's time.
Good, thank you. I love hearing this too. And I just wanted to say too, we can take such joy in the large and small gains, and we can take joy in knowing that we get to do it again, because as Joe mentioned, there's a lot of it's maintenance for the vegetation work, but also for relationships with people. We have to constantly, feed those relationships and keep people engaged. So, but I think as we're seeing, as it's building and you're getting more people engaged in the process, and people are getting excited to see progress, hopefully that will get easier too, many hands and all. So next, let's see, I see Eileen from Coombsville Wild Horse Valley.
Well, we finally got all the signage, the Reflect to Protect signage program completed. And shout out to Jonathan, who really came through for us and helped us with some of the installation work on that. But it was a really good exercise in meeting people, because a lot of people did not come to pick up their signs. So we went door to door distributing the signs. And, a lot of people are working from home and are very glad to see us. So it was a way to get the word out about fire safe and everything that is being done. The other thing that has been happening is there's a tie-in with the community becoming really concerned about traffic safety. Apparently, there are a lot of bad actors on the main thoroughway, Coombsville Wild Horse Valley Road, and the county supervisors have been helping out with getting a lot of mitigation work done. The concern is that, people who loiter and do wheelies and all that can spark can create sparks that cause fires. So that has been why the community has been very concerned about that. And with help from the county, we've gotten berms put in to prevent parking and drinking and loitering and littering. And there's a bunch of stop signs that have gone up recently with clarity on signage that has been done by the county itself. So that has helped a lot. We had 2 major accidents on Coombsville within the last 4 months, and that was also a big concern. So there's the community seems to be very interested in traffic issues, and in terms of fire safe, we've piggybacked on that concern, and we're trying to get the word out and other things done. We haven't had any major projects scheduled within the county, so I've been driving around and trying to see how we're looking in terms of fire safety. And I'm happy to report that a lot of the large landowners are doing a lot of mitigation work themselves. And so I'm feeling a little better about the fact that there aren't any big projects scheduled in our fire safe yet, because landowners have taken up the message, and they are basically doing a lot of work. And that is my report.
Thank you, Eileen and Aston, for all of your good work, and really appreciate your tenacity and your engagement with the community, and you're doing great things out there. Getting those signs up is great. I love to hear that it was a good way in to engage with people and spread the word.
Tell them about the FedEx guy.
When we were doing the Reflective Protect signage, the FedEx guys stopped because they were so excited to see the signage. Apparently, signage is, something that they really rely on in getting around, and they have a lot of difficulty. And I'm actually hoping that the next grant has some room to do another signage program, because we really need it. There's very little, signage that emergency personnel can rely on at this point, even after the Reflective Protect program.
We hope so too. So I think it's a great project, and really, it seems like low hanging fruit. I know it doesn't maybe feel like that if you were the one implementing it. It's a lot of work to get it done, but it's important, and great for visibility in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
Okay, and Deer Park. Thank you guys. We've got our still brand new lead, Deb Broman.
Good evening. Nice to talk with you all. Our first meeting was last month. It went really well. We had over 30 some people there. I don't remember. And we're doing some planning now and working our paperwork so we can get the CWPP and whatever the other thing is done. And moving forward, we're planning for a community cleanup day in the spring, so people can get their brush together, and we'll have pickup trucks and can do dump runs and that kind of thing. And then we want to show the homeowners what a fire safe home looks like that's new, and one that is old, and one that isn't fire safe, but people may think it is. And just to give people ideas of what a good safe home looks like, and then have a barbecue afterwards. That's it.
Excellent. That's great. And so, Deer Park has been a fire safe council for a lot of years, but as I'm sure you're all very aware, it was burned really badly in the glass fire, and so sort of regrouping now, and glad to have Deb at the helm. And let's see, I'm going to take a quick skip jump over to Lake Hennessy, because Cynthia's going to drop off in like 1.5 minutes. Can you give us a quick update, Cynthia? Oops, and you're muted.
Thank you for letting me step forward in the line. I'll make this quick. We've recently received our NFPA certification, and so we have yet to get everything organized on that. But we're meeting on a going forward basis. We're expecting the CWPP this week. I bumped into Carol last Thursday at the summit. So very excited that we'll have the CWPP in hand and we can start moving forward. We also are having our first steering committee meeting tomorrow night. So very, very excited about that development. There have been 4 of us who've been shouldering all of the work thus far. So we're hoping that this will be a turn for the better to have new stakeholders participate and conquer and divide. So that's really all I have. I did have one quick question going back to some of the fundraising opportunities that are coming up, or rather contribution opportunities. Is we had some Fire Safe Council residents and neighbors were a little put off once the Bill Dodd funding or the Bill Dodd party came up, and we were able to raise money for our Fire Safe Council, quite a bit actually. But there was some feedback we received that it became political, and I haven't heard back from those people since. So I'm just wondering if anyone out there has had a similar experience, or if there's any advice that Firewise might have. I understand that fire has no boundaries. It doesn't know, it sees no political boundaries and beyond. But how can we, it would be nice to have some data points going into these opportunities that are coming before the year end, whether it be with vintners or with NCFF. Could we get some information that's put together that we could pass along to our neighbors so that they can see it's really beyond political lines, and it's really about helping the community?
Do you have a way to characterize maybe a little bit more what you mean by that? And if it's kind of like sensitive, I guess I understand, but I'm just wondering,
Meaning
maybe in
the
broad
political
terms,
offense, or
are you saying that it was political in the sense of people donating money to Dodd, or Dodd providing money to us, or the way that we Napa Firewise distributed the money?
It's the individual didn't, this came to me third hand.
Yeah.
And so I got the sense that it was Bill Dodd, who's a politician, coming in and saying, if you participate in this event, then we'll give you money. And somehow they read maybe more into it than was really intended. Maybe this is a one-off problem, but it's somebody fairly significant that I think would be wonderful to have within the fold of our Fire Safe Council.
Is the concern, Cynthia, that we may have lost a potential longer term contributor to this cause? And are you asking if there's a way for us to help go approach that person again?
But I think I'm more just looking to, in general, if we can have, so I suppose there's 2 questions. One, could Terrence Mulligan mentioned during the summit that there were X dollars given to the community in these areas over the last X number of years. And it would really be wonderful to have that information put together in a format that we could share with our residents, and including any other organization that has contributed, say, to Firewise or NCFF.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so Dodd historically has done fundraisers for the Napa Valley Community Foundation that were used in post-fire rebuilding. And I'm trying to understand sort of
okay
how we can So where that data is so where that money wound up going. I suppose we could maybe find out if it's available from Napa Valley Community Foundation at sort of an aggregate level. I imagine because it went to individual homeowners, it's for rebuilding. There's probably a privacy issue.
Sure. Not to the individuals, but as a whole, if it went out to fire victims for rebuilding, and so anywhere that we're saying make a contribution before year end toward that Firewise could potentially benefit from, then people like to know where their money is going. So if we could quantify that with these organizations and how it
I can, try another tack here. In our Fire Safe Council, we put out a request for contributions in 2021, and people could contribute to make a tax deductible contribution to Napa Firewise, and put a notation on the check or whatever that it was to go to fund projects in our Fire Safe Council area. So we managed by that mechanism to assure people that their contributions would be devoted to projects that would be making their local community safer. Does that help?
That's the most express way, I think, Cynthia.
And I agree with all of that. I think I will sideline this to a one-on-one, maybe with Sherry or Joe, with you. I don't want to tie up. You've got a lot of people to go through, so.
And Robert's
reach out.
point
I want to make sure I understand what the question is, and I think we can get you a good answer.
Yeah, we can take it offline, but Robert's point is a very good point. We're fiscal sponsors of the Fire Safe Councils, and the Fire Safe Councils, certainly mine, has raised money that then is held by Napa Firewise, but goes only to our Fire Safe Council.
Yes. Yep. And that's wonderful. Okay.
I'll
table the rest.
Let's keep talking. No, it's important. That's important information to share as well. So we want to make sure, I mean, we look at the map and see where all the funds are going. We need to make sure that's available to everybody, and that there's a lot of work going on throughout the whole landscape. But yeah, thanks, Cynthia.
And Sherry,
thank you all.
Want
thank you.
To get in front of anybody, but I've got a hard stop at 6:15.
Okay. That's like everybody's in the same boat. I know this is going a little bit long again, because we've got it's just so wonderful to see everybody. But I'll stop talking right now, and I think we can make it to you. Let's see. Dan McQueenie, do you want to give a quick update? And then so we skipped over you, and then we'll get back over to Chris.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. A lot of the projects have been completed. Primarily was to put a perimeter from Wild Horse Valley Road to top to Monticello, the Rag Canyon, down through the Belcher Ranch, and traveling all the way to Solano County. So most of that project has been completed. Last firehouse meeting, we recognized 2 members with awards. Patty Macy, who donated her time catering skills to the Bill Dodd auction, and the Pat Howard, who actually created our CWPP, and we gave an award to both those folks. So primarily, that's all I have to report.
That's great. Thanks, Dan. And I'm really glad to hear that. I know Pat's worked in the background for a long time, so that's nice that people get recognized. Awesome. Okay, and then Chris Warner has to jump off, so sorry for everyone. I'm jumping around a little bit, but we'll get a quick update from St. Helena.
Thanks, and I really appreciate the model that all the other Fire Safe Councils are providing for us in St. Helena, because we're generally in the valley, but we have a somewhat of a hilly side on both the west and east side. Things we've accomplished recently that are important for us are with the help of the Dodd money and a year-long effort, we, with 2 property owners on the west side of our city, and with the help of Spring Mountain as well, and Sherry, and Napa Firewise, we've completed what amounts to a improved shaded fuel break on the west side of St. Helena in the lower hills. And what's important about this is that we've got about 300 homes and probably over 500 people that live right next to, within 400 feet of where the glass fire came down the hills on the west side of St. Helena. This fire break, which 2 property owners have helped us accomplish, is going to be a great opportunity for preventing and stopping fires before they spread down into the city. Separately, our other focus has been on our vulnerable community members, low income, non-English speaking members on the east side of the city. And as some of you know, St. Helena has multifamily housing on the east side, Vineyard Valley, and that's where the fire and the glass fire came right down across the trail and almost came across the river into these communities. We've worked with an organization known as COAD. Many of you know COAD is a great outreach organization for helping with emergency planning. And St. Helena Fire Safe Council and COAD have co-sponsored a number of meetings with vulnerable community members on the east side of St. Helena. And now we've been asked by the city, and the city is very concerned, as they rightfully should, that we really need to up our game on evacuation planning. We've got a Pope Street bridge that is basically a choke point. It can't even pass 2 cars to the east side by side. And so we're going to spend a lot of time. We've already been involved with the city. They've hired a consultant to basically refresh the entire emergency evacuation planning for St. Helena, and St. Helena Fire Safe Council is supporting that. So, and then Sherry, of course, and Vanessa have been very helpful. We've coordinated a lot with Spring Mountain Fire Safe Council as well as Diamond Mountain. That's my report, Sherry. And again, thank you all for everything you're doing.
Thanks, Chris. Great report. Appreciate what you're doing too. You're all over all the things. Okay, Hennessy Rector, Bob.
I gave a brief update last time, so I think what I'll do is just mention a couple of things on your theme of what to be thankful for. I think number one has to be Napa Firewise. We've accomplished a lot in a couple of years, and none of it would have been possible without your guidance and your help. The second is our focus now is on a maintenance program for what we've accomplished, so that we can kind of keep things up and make sure that we don't have projects where we've done some work and then through neglect it just grows back. We're about to make a second fundraising request to our residents. We have a plan where we have an annual maintenance budget, and we're going to go out to the residents and ask for annual contributions to fund this maintenance. People have been super supportive so far. I think we've built a lot of credibility with the way that we've taken the funds that have we've raised previously and have done projects where people have a real sense of tangible improvement, and just hoping that continues, and we'll raise the funds we need to keep our maintenance program going.
Fantastic. And I love hearing all that. Maintenance, are you still talking about grazing for maintenance at all?
Yeah, so it's a combination of grazing and some just roadside, weed whacking, taking care of some regrowth where we've done roadside fuel reduction, and there's some areas where we're still deciding whether handwork or grazing is the most cost-effective way to do it.
I love that. It's all the same an experiment. That's great. Thank you so much, Bob. And let's see, now I'm skipping around. I'm losing my Silverado, Susan.
Okay, here I am. I just not thinking I was next up. So
oh, I'm sorry. Did I skip?
That's fine. That's fine.
I skipped over Joe.
Okay. Yeah. So a couple things that we've been doing. One, we did kind of a cost share, which was voluntary, to curb paint. So this would probably be better for St. Helena, and and Calistoga. So what we found was people own their numbers on their house and they don't want to change them. You know, they like the 17 on the rock, which really doesn't show up. So we decided to try to kind of offset that by doing a pilot program to paint the numbers on the curbs. And the Fire Safe Council, we figured out it was $29 a number, a set of numbers, and the Fire Safe Council would pick up the whole tab. However, we would ask for donations to the council going forward. Fortunately, we found somebody that would do it in he did it in a day, and it was beautiful. We had no real pushback. 2 people questions. One person said it was ridiculous, which is understandable with 100 homes, and it looks great, because we thought that we would never get people to actually make the numbers visible in our community. I checked with county roads, I checked with the district, and both said go for it. So things are painted and you can really find houses now, so which is fantastic. The other thing we did is we have the goats working on 92 acres of a 200 and 300 foot fire break around our north and a little bit down to our east side of the community. This is a maintenance project, and I will tell you, goats are expensive, $1,000 an acre. We were able to get the neighbors to pitch in probably, I would say 2/3 of that. I don't know, Sherry, you might have another idea on the funding, but a lot of people pitched in and put money in the bucket to get this done. And again, this was completed in 22, but on the 5-year plan, we don't come up until next year with NCFF, and we felt like we needed to maintain the gain on this area. This is where the fire came down the mountain in 17. Other than that, had a good program on October 7th with the California Department of Insurance, United Policyholders, the Sheriff's Department, and Joe, also spoke to the community and just did a cocktail hour, with hors d'oeuvres and everything. And the last thing is on May 18th, which you might want to put on your calendar. Certainly as leads, you are invited. We are going to do another event at Silverado, educational, fun community event. So May 18th is the next thing coming up. And that's it.
Excellent. Great, Susan. Nice work. And
that event was really well organized. Susan, you and Linda did, and the team did a great job on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, really, really well done. And with the fundraiser and getting water out for the livestock and just all of it, really helping run that whole project.
And Phil did a great job too. I mean, I helped, but he did a lot to get that the landowners agreements and all that done. It was great.
Tenacious is the way to go for sure. Well, thank you. That's fantastic. And then Joe, do you want to give any reports on Mount Peter? Any new hot news for the?
Is Joanne still on? Or did she leave?
I think we lost her.
Joanne Sutro.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see her on still.
Oh, okay. I mean, we raised funds from folks in Rutherford Bench and the Oakville Ridge area to fund our CWP update, which we're working on. Carol's doing it, and I'm working with her on that. And we're organizing a community meeting. So, we're going to endeavor by January to have that buttoned up, along with our Firewise certification, which Napa Firewise is paying for, and we're grateful for that. And other than that, we are chasing a little bit of foundation money just to supplement our Neighbors in Need program, so we can kind of rebuild that. We did, I think, 6 neighbors in need projects last year, or during this year, pardon me, where we were out doing defensible space and helping folks with a little bit of cost share, or in some cases just covering the costs entirely. And so we're trying to rebuild that kitty to about maybe 35,000 or something like that, so that we can continue to do that work in our neighborhood. Those are a couple of things that we're working on.
Excellent, inspirational, and
we're super grateful. Firewise is, I mean, we had done a lot of projects several years ago, so we're kind of in the maintenance cycle now. So Firewise in 2023 did quite a bit of work to go back and maintain a bunch of work that we had done with CAL FIRE money from, like, 2017 or 2018 or something like that. So we definitely, we had a lot of road closures in Mount Veeder. People were, for the most part, pretty patient as county roads came out and repaired landslides and damaged roads from the storms last year. And also, Napa Firewise was doing a lot of nice fuel reduction work along Dry Creek and Mount Veeder and a bunch of the main corridors out here.
Mixed bag with those road closures, getting good work done, lots of good work done, but a little
Joe,
frustrating.
Yes,
I just had a
Susan.
question.
Go ahead.
Did you do Partridge Road? Is that part of your area?
Yes.
Yes, it's wonderful. Just,
Oh,
I
great.
mean, it's safer for fire, but it's also safer for just driving and bicyclists and everything else. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody did a really nice article about Napa Firewise in the Register the other day. Courtney.
Well done. Thank you.
Yeah.
I believe Roger was out there with Kevin Courtney.
Kevin Courtney, that's who it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. Great, great, great. And now, saving the fabulous Barbara for last for Soda Canyon.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. First of all, Soda Canyon has some good things going. We're moving forward. We finally have our rough draft of our CWPP. We have a good group of people that are interested in being in the steering committee, and we are especially grateful to Firewise because there's money earmarked for evacuation routes and some work along those lines, and also roadside management, so fuel management. So we're happy campers at Soda Canyon. So thank you, Firewise.
You're welcome. And thank you, Barbara. I'm so grateful for you guys too. And any new updates on your volunteer fire department?
Still pending, but that our firehouse has been a Soda Canyon icon for years, and we're going to see what we can do to keep it around as long as we can, and maybe kind of change it around to more prevention. So we'll see. It's pending, and we're working on it.
Well, let's get together and talk about that a little bit more too. I'd love to hear what it takes, and maybe Joe can weigh in on this too, and any other volunteer firefighters, Steve, about what it takes to keep a volunteer fire department going. Like what else? Because I think that's a really cool. And Barbara used to be part of the fire department.
No, that was Cindy, not me. That was
Cindy,
Cindy.
not you.
My
Okay, you both
co-lead.
were. Okay, I'm sorry.
No.
Cindy, the co-lead, used to drive the fire engine.
Oh yeah. It's tricky. That's an important fire department up there. So
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, especially
we're
given
working on it.
Yeah, good. It's a critical resource to keep. I mean, it's it's not an absolute dead end road, but it's something that's pretty critical to have that facility out there for sure.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I think, did I miss anybody? Anybody still on the call? Anyone else have anything to say? I was going to put Roger on the spot.
Well, I was just going to mention to folks, I got to sign up too, but we, Napa Firewise, as we do, we're out there chasing more money, and we continue to try to advance some open grants that are pending right now. There's the FEMA HMGP grant that we got some additional requests for information from FEMA on that we responded to. We are pursuing, we just submitted a grant for a large community wildfire defense grant that would do a bunch of work up and around Angwin and towards Angwin, towards kind of St. Helena. We have another round of CAL FIRE grants that we'll be working on in December, January. And so as we do with the CAL FIRE grants, we try to think about sort of all four corners of Napa and where we can pick out projects from your CWPPs and pursue some things. So we are excited to continue to look for and uncover different sources of funds out there to get the work done. And sometimes we're the funder, sometimes we help the county because they're the funder, but they need our assistance to write the applications as we do with these FEMA things. So we will keep chasing the dollars to get the work done.
Yes. Thank you, Joe. That is for sure. Any
And with
last
that,
words?
I'm going to switch gears and go work on a grant that's due on Friday. I'll catch y'all
Yes.
later. Thanks for all of your great work, hard work. We really appreciate everything that you do to contribute to Napa's resilience and all the fantastic partnership we have with you all.
Well said.
Cool.
We'll leave it there unless anyone else has anything to chime in on, but thank you all so much. I'll send those follow-up information around. If you think of anything else, ping me and I'll add it to the list. And thank you. Grateful
Keep
for all of
promoting
you.
all
Thank
of our
you, guys.
social media channels. Please promote all of our social media channels. Roger Collinson's there to remind you of that too. If you need QR codes or whatever it is to do that, please help us advance that. We need to get folks. We need followers.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah, I didn't share my screen, but I've got that too. Yeah, but thank you once again. And
Thanks, gang.
happy Thanksgiving and Veterans Day and everything else. And hopefully we'll chat more soon. Keep in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.